Hello, you kick off the Monday's edition of QPVN English News Bulletin. You're with MINH and income deadlines. Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính directs disaster relief efforts in Điện Biên. Military parade forces pay respect to President Ho Chi Minh. Vietnam's contributions on ASEAN'S development journey. On August the 3rd, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính attended the 4th Party Congress of the Vietnam National Oil and Gas Group of PetroVietnam for the 2025-2030 term. In its remarks, the Prime Minister highlighted 9 key achievements of the group, noting its contribution to energy, food and economic security, social welfare and the safeguarding of national maritime sovereignty.
The Congress recognized the 2020-2025 term as an exceptionally successful period for PetroVietnam's Party Committee. The group achieved all 12 of the targets set in the previous term's resolution, with many surpassing expectations. Speaking on behalf of the party and state leadership, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính acknowledged the dual nature of the current era, marked by both opportunities and significant challenges. Despite the complex context, PetroVietnam's Party Committee and its workforce have made remarkable efforts, embraced innovation, and achieved outstanding results in production, business, and organizational reform. The Prime Minister commended the group for its important contribution to national development and security, applauded the ambitious targets set by its Party Committee, and expressed hope that PetroVietnam would strive to rank among the top 7, ideally top 5 leading enterprises in the region. To reach this goal, he urged the group to lead by examples in science, technology, innovation, and digital transformation, advancing its 3 core pillars of energy, industry, and services. He called on the group to actively integrate internationally, constantly renew its mindset, seize new opportunities, and strengthen both traditional and emerging growth drivers. This includes improving workforce capacity, productivity, and transitioning effectively to new energy resources while expanding high-quality technical services. The Prime Minister expressed confidence that the success of the 4th Party Congress will be a catalyst for even stronger progress. He affirmed that PetroVietnam will continue to play a vital role in advancing Vietnam's development goals, securing national independence and prosperity for the people, achieving the country's 2 centennial targets, and contributing to peace, stability, cooperation, and development, both regionally and globally.
On August the 3rd, Prime Minister Phạm Minh Chính and the central government delegation traveled by helicopter to Điện Biên province to inspect and direct recovery efforts in areas severely affected by recent flooding and landslides.
The Prime Minister visited Hang Pusi hamlet in Sa Dung commune, one of the hardest hit locations, where 24 out of 70 homes were completely destroyed. At the site, he personally met with local residents, offered gifts, and expressed deep sympathy for their losses and hardships, while urging local authorities and rescue forces to accelerate emergency response operations, especially in isolated areas, ensuring the fastest possible access to remote villages still lacking food, clean water, and communications. The head of the government praised the dedication and bravery of military and police personnel, along with local officials who have worked tirelessly under dangerous conditions to support affected communities. He also directed ministries, sector and provincial authorities to remain highly focused and coordinate closely in overcoming the consequences of the disaster, helping people stabilize their lives as soon as possible.
Afternoon the same day, Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thanh Long inspected flood damage and recovery efforts in Sơn La province and visited residents in Chiang Sơ commune to offer encouragement and relief support. Accompanying the delegation were representatives from the Ministry of Agriculture and Environment, military representatives, and local authorities.
The Deputy Prime Minister met with families who lost members or homes, offering words of comfort and support packages. Military Region 2 Command also donated 1 ton of dry food to each affected commune. Acknowledging the proactive efforts of local authorities and armed forces, Deputy Prime Minister Lê Thành Long urged continued vigilance in high-risk areas and proactive measures to safeguard lives and property. He also called for the swift mobilization of resources to restore essential infrastructure and stabilize lives for flood-hit communities.
Honorable the Third Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô, Vice Chairman of the General Police Department of the Vietnam People's Army, offered flowers and incense in tribute to fallen heroes at the Sơn Tịnh Martyrs Memorial Temple, the Ba Star Victory Monument, and the Ba Star Martyrs Cemetery in Quảng Ngãi Province.
In a solemn and respectful atmosphere, the delegation, led by Senior Lieutenant General Trương Thiên Tô, beat the ceremonial drum 3 times and observed a moment of silence to honor the heroic soldiers, civilians, and armed forces who fought bravely and sacrificed their lives for defending national independence and the people's freedom. More than 60 years ago, on May 31st, 1965, units under Military Region 5, together with Quảng Ngãi people and armed forces, made the resounding Bazaar victory. This triumph remains a lasting symbol of the indomitable spirit, deep patriotism, and unwavering resolve of Vietnam's military and people. It also played a key role in defeating the U.S. Special War Strategy in southern Vietnam.
On August 3rd, following the schedule of the Ministry of National Defense Parade Subcommittee, officers and soldiers from the formations of the Commando Corps and the Signal Corps paid tribute to President Ho Chi Minh at his mausoleum.
For each service member, this is a great honor, a moment to remember and express gratitude to President Ho Chi Minh, the great leader and beloved father of the Vietnam People's Armed Forces. The ceremony carries strong political significance, reminding all participants in the upcoming National Day Parade to uphold revolutionary values and absolute loyalty to the party, country, and people. Reporting to Ung Ho, the troops vowed to train harder and prepare well for the historic event. From Budding Square, the symbolic heart of the country, their steps toward the mausoleum reflect deep pride and a shared resolve to carry forward the heroic traditions of the Vietnam People's Army.
Coming up next, Vietnam's contributions on ASEAN'S development journey. Keeping Vietnamese language alive in Laos. 30 years ago, at the 20th ASEAN Foreign Ministers meeting in Brunei, Vietnam's national flag, a red flag with a yellow star, proudly flew alongside the national flags of other Southeast Asian countries. This event marked Vietnam's official accession as the 7th member of ASEAN, a milestone in its regional and international integration. After 3 decades from being a new member, Vietnam has played its leading and proactive role in ASEAN community. Let's look back on the 30-year journey to better understand Vietnam's role, contributions, and far-reaching vision for ASEAN's future.
On July the 28th, in 1995, Vietnam officially joined the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN, marking a milestone not only in its foreign policy, but also opening up opportunities for Vietnam to go deeper into international integration. Additionally, Vietnam has become a proactive, active and responsible member of ASEAN. Acting as ASEAN chair for 3 times, Vietnam has always left a mark of resilience. In 2020, amidst the peak of the COVID-19 pandemic, Vietnam led ASEAN to overcome difficulties by flexibility and creativity, effectively operating online meetings, promoting cooperation in healthcare, economy, while strengthening internal solidarity. Beyond its coordinating role, Vietnam has actively proposed many initiatives of regional cooperation, especially on economic connectivity, digital transformation, sustainable development, and non-traditional security. Vietnam is truly a proactive, creative, and responsible member.
Vietnam's roles and contribution in the past 30 years have brought a lot of contribution, a lot in terms of the promotion and the maintenance of peace, stability and security in ASEAN, in accelerating the enlargement of ASEAN, in continuing to build prosperity of ASEAN, At the same time, in the strengthening of the external relations of ASEAN, particularly ASEAN engagement with external partners. So the external relations have been further strengthened. Vietnam today is very important.
At the 46th ASEAN Summit, Vietnam proposed 3 key cooperation focuses for the grouping bloc, reshaping development thinking that considers inclusiveness as the foundation, innovation as the driving force, and sustainability as the destination. Continuing enhancing connectivity and expanding linkages beyond the region, diversifying products, markets, and supply chains, maintaining ASEAN's central role and enhance regional resilience.
In his speech during the summit, he mentioned that in order to bring forward the vision for ASEAN to achieve greatness in the year 2045, there are 3 suggestions. The Prime Minister of Vietnam, he said inclusiveness is very important. And I think Vietnam itself is a very good example of this.
Towards the ASEAN Community Vision 2045, which aims to promote regional resilience and sustainable development, Vietnam continues to affirm its roles as a trusted friend and partner within the grouping.
The Women's Museum of Mexico, in collaboration with the Vietnamese Women's Museum and cultural promoter Kira Nunes de Leon, recently launched a photo exhibition titled The Long-Haired Army in downtown Mexico City.
The exhibition honors the role of Vietnamese women in the resistance wars and celebrates the enduring friendship between Vietnam and Mexico, the 2 countries with a shared history of struggle for independence and freedom. Vietnamese Ambassador Nguyễn Văn Hải highlighted the exhibition's role in promoting the image of Vietnamese women and expressed hope that a similar showcase on Mexican women will soon take place in Vietnam. He affirmed the important contributions of women of both countries in building equitable and sustainable society. Dr. Kira Nunes de Leon praised the resilience and noble qualities of Vietnamese women during both wartime and the nation's post-war development. The exhibition is free to public and will run through the end of August 2025 at the Women's Museum of Mexico.
In the heart of the peaceful capital city of Vientiane, Laos, there is a small house where the beloved sound of the Vietnamese language always echoes. For nearly a century, it has been the home of Mrs. Nguyễn Thị Nương, a 97-year-old woman of Vietnamese descent.
Through 4 generations, her family has steadfastly passed down their mother tongue as a sacred lifeline, ensuring that the Vietnamese language lives not only in daily speech, but also shines through every custom, way of life, moral value, and an enduring love for the homeland. The children naturally learn Lao when they go to school, but at home, everyone must speak Vietnamese. We don't allow Lao at home. That's why my grandchildren speak Vietnamese clearly and properly. At meals, they always invite out of us. We keep every tradition. Living far away from homeland, these things matter even more. Born into a multilingual environment, Pham has never lost his roots. He said Vietnamese was hard at first, but his parents were patient. Now with his own family, he is determined to teach his future children Vietnamese. My parents taught me that as a Vietnamese, I must preserve our language and culture. Now I have my own family, though no children yet. But when I do, I will teach them Vietnamese so they will remember their roots and keep our Vietnamese traditions alive. What her most proud of is that her children can speak multiple languages: Vietnamese, Lao, English, and even Thai. But Vietnamese remains their root, their soul. To preserve that root takes strong will, deep tradition, family custom, and years of nurturing. Keeping our cultural roots is not easy. It takes time, and it takes Vietnamese traditions and custom. Only then we can pass those values on to our children and grandchildren. Language is not merely a means of communication, but a bridge of the soul, memory, culture, and roots. Preserving the mother tongue means keeping alive values, tradition, and identity.
It is the end of the English News Bulletin today. You can watch the news again at qpvn.vn. For goodbye and see you next time.